Imagine sitting in a courtroom, tense silence filling the air, when suddenly, chaos erupts. A woman screams as officers pin her down, her cries echoing off the cold marble walls. And then, in a heartbeat, the unthinkable happens. A man with a weathered face, a limp in his step, and the unmistakable posture of a soldier rises from the benches. He's just a single dad, a veteran who came to court that day for reasons of his own. Yet, within seconds, he throws himself into the fray, pulling her free from the crushing weight of authority gone too far. Viewers, you'll want to stay until the end, because what happens next will leave your heart shaken, your spirit lifted, and you'll never look at courage the same way again. And if stories of bravery, sacrifice, and redemption inspire you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful journeys like this one. The veteran's name was Daniel Hayes, a man once decorated for his bravery overseas but now fighting a different kind of battle, raising his little daughter, Emily, after losing his wife to cancer 2 years ago. Courtrooms weren't foreign to him. He had been attending hearings about his late wife's medical bills, the kind that drained his savings and tested his patience. On that day, Daniel wasn't expecting to play the role of a hero. He just wanted to keep his head down, endure another round of endless arguments, and get back home to Emily, who was waiting for him with a drawing she promised to finish before bedtime. But then came the woman. Her name was Clara Jennings, a soft-spoken teacher who stood accused of contempt after speaking against an unfair ruling that had cost her family their land. The system had chewed her up, just as it had done to Daniel many times before. But when she raised her voice in desperation, something inside the courtroom shifted. The officers swarmed her, shoving her against the wooden rail as if she were a criminal, though all she carried was the truth. Daniel's heart pounded. His training kicked in, the same instincts that once saved lives on the battlefield. Without hesitation, he stepped forward. "That's enough," his voice thundered, shaking the silence. The crowd gasped as the limping veteran pulled the woman away, shielding her with his own body. For a moment, time seemed frozen. A single dad, a broken soldier, standing between a terrified woman and the force of the state. His eyes met hers, and in them, Clara saw not just protection, but recognition. Both of them had been crushed by systems bigger than themselves. Both were tired of staying silent. The judge, stunned by the spectacle, slammed his gavel and demanded order. But the courtroom could not erase what it had just witnessed. Whispers filled the air, echoing the same question: who was truly in the right? The man who stood for compassion, or the authorities who used power to silence it? What happened next shocked everyone. Clara, breathless but unbroken, was escorted to the bench, not in handcuffs but in reverence. For weeks she had been petitioning, not as a defendant, but as an appointed judge whose confirmation had been delayed by politics and hidden agendas. And now, in the very courtroom where she had been dragged to the floor, her official appointment was announced. Seconds after being attacked, she stood tall behind the judge's seat, her voice steady, her spirit unyielding. Daniel watched, his chest heaving, his hands still trembling from the confrontation. For the first time in years, he felt the sharp edge of hope cut through the weight of despair. Clara, now Judge Jennings, looked directly at him and said words he would never forget: "Justice is not about power, it's about courage." And today, you reminded us all what that means. Tears burned Daniel's eyes. He thought of Emily, of the lessons he wanted to pass on to her. That bravery isn't about medals or uniforms, but about standing up when it matters most. Clara adjourned the court, but before leaving, she walked over to Daniel and whispered, "You saved more than me today. You saved faith in what's right." The crowd dispersed, yet whispers of the incident would echo beyond that courtroom, spreading through the town, the state, and eventually across the nation. A veteran who had given everything for his country, a single dad holding on by a thread, had once again become a symbol of what true honor looks like. And a woman once silenced became the voice of justice itself. Viewers, this isn't just a story, it's a reminder. Life will test you. Systems may break you. But courage, compassion, and truth will always rise again, sometimes in the most unexpected places. If Daniel's story moved you, if Clara's triumph gave you hope, then honor their courage by sharing this video. Hit like, subscribe, and remember, heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they're just fathers fighting for their children, or teachers fighting for fairness. And sometimes, they stand in courtrooms, reminding us all what justice truly means.